January 1936 through March 1937. For better or worse, I was born a traveler, wanting to go everywhere and see everything. My clearest memory, at 5 or 6, was the morning I wrote not crookedly or hurriedly, but with care, "Dear Mother, how pretty you are. You are lovely to me. Goodbye, Martha." I found a thumbtack and fixed my letter to the newel post at the top of the stairs and walked out the front door taking nothing with me and not making a sound. Trotting down the block with purpose, for I had thought this out long before, I stole onto the cart of the man who delivered our ice, hoping to end up far from St. Louis and in the world. All that long summer day, I was completely hidden and also exhilarated. Being stowed away was part of that, and how I'd gone off alone in secret. But even more convincing was the strangeness of what I saw through the cracks of the carriage. Factories and neighborhoods and whole rambling expanses of my own city that I'd never seen or guessed at. I was happy and even forgot that I was hungry until dusk, when I caught a glimpse of Forest Hills Park and realized we'd traveled only in a wide, known circle. That first solo journey had disappointed me, but it set my course anyway. I was a traveler, and that was that. By age 26, I had seen most of Europe, swum naked in 3 oceans, and met diplomats and Bolsheviks. College couldn't hold my interest, so I'd abandoned it, earning my own way. It seemed imperative not only to be on the move and feeling things, but also to be my own person and to live my own life and not anyone else's. But in January of 1936, my mother called me home to St. Louis with a cable saying my father was ill. I went by train, nervously shredding the cable in my coat pocket as I went. For as long as I could remember, my mother had been careful never to let anyone see her worry. But tension and anxiety had come through even in her telegram's few dashed-off words, and I didn't know how I would find her, or my father, and if I was up to facing him, ill and frail, to facing things as they were. My mother, Edna, was always the North Star in my sky, and also kinder than anyone living. She was warm and intelligent and good all through, and though she'd devoted her life to tirelessly championing women's rights and was ready always to be on the right side of things and people and causes, somehow the campaigns and marches and community speeches never got in the way of her being a mother or a wife. Every evening, she would stop whatever she was doing the moment she heard my father's key in the lock. Then she'd hurry to the bottom of the stairs just as he sailed through the door, planted his gray felt hat on the wooden stand, and kissed her. This evening ritual was a tender thing between them and their oldest habit, but it also seemed to be an inked-in promise of the future, of utter reliability going forward as far as it was possible to see, of all the kisses to come. I remember feeling as a child that it took no effort at all for my mother to be at the door every evening. Time obviously colluded to arrange it, slowing so she could stop everything to be exactly there whenever the door swung open every day. But of course I was mistaken. It took tremendous effort and will, too, and choice and determination. Other things tumbled so she could be at the stairs. They did, though I had never seen or heard them as they fell. My father, George Gellhorn, was a celebrated and esteemed obstetrician with a busy practice and teaching positions at 2 hospitals, and a glowing, impeccable way of being in the world. He was that pillar father, straight out of a George Eliot novel, managing his family with smooth care, precise as the inner workings of a Swiss timepiece, and his patients, too, and everything. In his study, there were thousands of books in alphabetical order with their spines perfectly aligned, and he had read all of them. I thought he knew everything there was to know when I was a girl, and everything about me, too. Maybe that's why I was forever trying to please him and win his approval, so I could finally be the daughter I saw flickering with promise and possibility in his eyes. It was perhaps the greatest difficulty of my life, coming to terms with the truth. Of course that daughter didn't exist. She never could.